Good morning, and welcome to First Unitarian Universalist Church of Rochester. We are a church of open minds and loving hearts, celebrating many sources of wisdom and many spiritual paths. Your faith, your doubts, your questions, your hopes, your identities are welcome here. Welcome to visitors and newcomers. We're glad you're here, and those online as well. There's a preschool playroom open for young ones throughout the morning just past the lobby, and groups for kids following the time for all ages. All are welcome. Newcomers, welcome. And after service, you can join us down in the Commons for refreshments and fellowship and find information about our church. You can look in the order of service for an events calendar on the back, and you can stay up to date through our weekly e-news as well. You can sign up through the office. Today after service is a special sign-up Sunday as our fall programs begin. So down in the Commons, you'll see lots of opportunities and over the next few weeks for sign-ups for small groups like Chalice Circles or Wednesday Cook Teams, book groups or social gatherings, ushering or teaching or singing or more. Gift for everyone is Chalice Choir begins today. So Chalice Choir for children begins, and they rehearse between services each week. I call it a gift for parents too, because your kids can rehearse during the coffee hour and parents can sip on coffee down in the Commons. So it's a wonderful thing. So if you're interested in that, you can just show up. They'll be in the chapel today, or you can talk with Rose Mish to be part of that as well. And then you can find all these opportunities downstairs. There's a brochure and folks to answer questions about how to get involved in the life of the church, or you can check out some things through the e-news as well if you want to find out more. So it's a chance to live our values together and to find your people. So I invite you to find ways to sign up in the life of our church. And today we are so glad to welcome back the Reverend Ruth McKenzie. Ruth served here as sabbatical minister and is joining us this year as adjunct minister, providing a consistent visiting presence throughout the year in support of not only you'll see her sometimes on Sunday mornings, about once a month or so, but supporting leadership and staff as well. So I'm so grateful for your presence among us. Welcome back. Huzzah! And good job, congregation, not scaring her away that she wanted to come back. Well done. We're also grateful this morning for Matt Schulka providing music. Grateful for you too. Our offering throughout this month has gone to support various organizations and needs for democracy and justice. And for today, we are collecting for the Immigration Justice Fund, and Phil Wheeler is going to come up and speak about the work and the need as it is right now in the congregation.
Thanks. So 7 years ago, the congregation adopted a congregational resolution on sanctuary and immigrant justice, committing us to providing sanctuary and support to otherwise law-abiding immigrants, regardless of their immigration status. We established the Immigrant Justice Fund in 2020, and we've used it to provide legal representation and living assistance for 3 asylum-seeking families. One of the families is independent, another one is mostly self-sufficient, and one family is having a hard time. You may remember Carlos and Adriana and Hennessy's. Well, Adriana Negrete was in an Uber that was rear-ended. She sustained a neck injury, and she's had no income since early August. If Carlos, her husband, were a citizen, he'd be in Rochester, available to help out. But instead, because he doesn't have the presumption of innocence, he's been in ICE detention since March, due chiefly to the practices of the Olmsted County Sheriff. This Sunday, contributions to the plate will go to the First UU Immigrant Justice Fund so we can continue to sponsor these asylum seekers and their circumstances, continue to help refugees, and continue to support immigrant justice. Please give generously to the extent you are able. Gracias.
Thank you, Phil, and for all those who've been doing this important work as it continues to be a deep need in our community and for these specific individuals and families. Our entire collection will go to that fund today, so you can give as the plates pass or online as well. There's a QR code for giving as well. Thank you for your generosity. And a final note, as we begin fall programming, every Wednesday you can join us as we return to Walden Hill Wednesdays. Each week we gather for a free will offering dinner prepared by our wonderful cook teams, which you can sign up to be part of downstairs if you'd like, followed by various groups including choir, table conversations, and a mix of other practices or topics. This week includes a fireside conversation about democracy and elections with guest Olivia Bergen, as well as a bring your own craft and chat, a space to knit or draw or create together for projects you're already working on. Just bring it for a casual time for conversation. Lots of opportunities this Wednesday night, so join us for dinner at 5:30, groups to follow. All are welcome. So I invite you to take a breath as we enter this time of worship with these words from our minister in the 1870s, the Reverend Eliza Tupper Wilkes. May our faith in humanity and our message of hope and good cheer light our way. It's good to be together. In just a moment, our opening hymn will call us back. It's number 298 in the gray hymnal, Wake Now My Senses. But before we sing, I invite you to rise in body or spirit and greet those around you and greet those online as well.
We light our flaming chalice today for the place of quietness and holiness within each of us, and for whatever helps us to feel peaceful inside. Ann Fields and Joan Goodwin.
In gratitude, we'll receive the offering.
If anyone would like to come up and join me, I have the Wonder Box today. What do you think is in my Wonder Box today? Anybody have any guesses at all? Well, a balloon. Oh, we had lots of balloons the other night, didn't we? Well, let me tell you, so this month's theme is invitation. So that is exactly what I have in my box today, is an invitation to me. And I need to talk to you about it a little bit because I'm a little nervous. So it's an invitation I got. See, look at this, how happy this is. You're invited. And it has some lemons on it. This is like what an actual invitation looks like, not just when you get on the computer, right? And it's to me, and it's for Sally's surprise party. First of all, I don't know exactly how I feel about surprise parties because, I don't know, they can be kind of scary. I mean, they can be kind of fun, right? Has anybody been to a surprise party? No? You've had one, yeah? It's kind of different. And it's tonight at 7 o'clock, which is kind of late in my world on a Sunday, not gonna lie. And the problem is it's at Jody's house. And here's the thing. I've never been to Jody's house before. And that makes me kind of nervous. So not only is there a surprise party, but it's also at someone's house I've never been to before. Has anybody been invited to a party or something to do at someone's house and you've never been there before? Yesterday? Yeah. And you get a little, and it can be a little nerve-wracking, right? Like a couple weeks ago? Yeah, you don't even know where the birthday party is and you're going somewhere. What if they serve food I don't like? What if they only have Brussels sprouts? I mean, yum, but like, what if that's the only thing they have? And what if they only have grape Kool-Aid and I don't like grape Kool-Aid? What am I gonna do? It makes me kind of nervous. And it makes me nervous to go there. What if I don't know anybody there? Do you think I won't? I mean, I'll know a couple people there because, like, I'm obviously invited to her party, right? So I know Sally, and I've met Jody before, but gosh, I just don't know if I'm so nervous. What should I do? Do I go to the party? Do I stay home? What should I do, you guys? Go to the party. Go to the party, have fun. But I'm so nervous. How can I have fun if I'm nervous? I'll forget about the fact that I'm nervous because I might have so much fun if I go there with an open mind, right? And think, this is going to be a fun time, right? I like Sally, and Jody seems like she's a lot of fun the times that I've met her, and maybe our other friends will be there. Maybe Cassie and Sarah and Elizabeth will all be there too, and I know all of those people. Maybe it'll be okay, but how am I going to know? How am I going to know? Am I going to know? I'm going to know. How am I going to know? Because I'm invited, so that I know that there's people who I'm going to know that are there. That's a good way to look at it. I know I'm going to know people, and even if I'm nervous, do you think I'm the only one who's going to the party that's going to be nervous? No? Some mixed messaging down here. Maybe some people will be nervous, maybe some people won't, but I need to go there with an open mind and just... What's our covenant again, you guys, that we say? Be open, be here, be respectful, and not open, I already said open. Be safe. And be yourself, right? Be noisy. Well, if that's how you are, maybe that's part of being yourself, but there's also this whole like being respectful thing, so it is kind of a fine balance. But if I go into something that I'm nervous about and know that I'm not the only one who's going to be nervous and that there's other people who are going to be there that I'm going to like to talk to, right? And I'm going to be an open-minded and have a fun time, right? So with that in mind, I want all of us to have an open mind, and we're going to go down, and I'm going to invite the middle schoolers, the 6th through 8th graders, to come down with us too this morning. And we're going to do a couple activities that allow us to get to know each other a little bit better. So Matt is going to play the children's benediction, and the words can be found in the back inside cover of your hymnal.
The poem Invitation by Mary Oliver. Oh, do you have time to linger for just a little while out of your busy and very important day for the goldfinches that have gathered in a field of thistles? For a musical battle to see who can sing the highest note or the lowest, or the most expressive of mirth or the most tender? Their strong, blunt beaks drink the air as they strive melodiously, not for your sake and not for mine, and not for the sake of winning, but for the sheer delight and gratitude. Believe us, they say. It is a serious thing just to be alive on this fresh morning in the broken world. I beg you, do not walk by without pausing to attend to this rather ridiculous performance. It could mean something. It could mean everything. It could be what Rilke meant when he wrote, "You must change your life."
Good morning. It is good to be with you. I invite you to settle in here as we create a place of communal caring and connection. It's our time to pause amidst the busyness of our lives, to slow down enough to consider the beauty that is here all around us, and to open a space for listening and love. Here, we honor all who support us in this caring, loving, and all-inclusive ministry. We send gratitude to Jesse Finch, serving as our caring coordinator, arranging care for our members and friends in need for the last 2 weeks. Mary Jane McCarty will take over tomorrow for the next 2, and we thank her for that. The members of our caring committee are wonderful examples of our compassionate community, holding us up as we go through challenging and happy times. And life can be challenging. We could all use some extra support with what life throws at us. And if you are experiencing those challenges in your life, we encourage you to reach out for support and help. If you need additional care or personal pastoral care, please reach out to Reverend Luke or Reverend Ruth. Now I have to get used to saying that again. Or myself with that request. Our flowers this morning are shared by Eric Egler in celebration of he and his wife's 24-year anniversary. Thanks. And we wish them many, many more years of happiness. In this community, we share pieces of our lives with one another. We do this because all people here have value. Each person's experience matters. We lift up those who are experiencing sadness, illness, or loneliness. May the strength and love in our congregation help guide you. And we revel in those who are experiencing joys in their lives. May their happiness lift us all, and may their joy filter into all around them. This morning we hold in our hearts Jade Joyce. Jade had surgery for a colon resection on Monday. All went well, and she is recovering nicely, and she would welcome cards of support and well wishes. We send her healing thoughts for continued recovery. Cards of support and well wishes are welcomed for all. The cards of support list that is compiled weekly contains several members and friends of the church who are experiencing those challenging or happy times, and is posted in the entryway of the church, as well as a link through your e-news. And we provide cards and postage and welcome you to leave those cards down on the table in the entryway. Here, our service to each other, to the world, and to our faith is our focus. Let us carry that out into the wider world. May the faith in the spirit of life, love for the community of earth, and love for the light in each other be ours now and in all the days to come.
I invite you to take a breath. Breathe deep the breath of life. Feel below you the earth in its ancient turning. Above you the sky, and beyond that the stars shining with their ancient light, holding you in this moment this breath, you yourself made of earth and stars. Know that in this house you are named, you are known as beloved, as sacred. I invite you into this time of meditation, this time of prayer, first by sharing silence together. Spirit of life, source of love, God and Gaia of many names and beyond all naming. Each day the world invites us to notice not only what is around us, in air or the art of the world, in light or color or song or sound, but to notice those strands of beauty, of gratitude, of love that reach from all of those points to stir something within us. How there are moments or places common as afternoon sun in the kitchen or as rare as color dancing across an early morning or a late night sky that catch our breath, that hold our soul for a moment. And for a moment, they demand we pause and to notice this here, my tiny little corner of the world is overflowing with beauty, with possibility, with love. We hold in our hearts to say all those who suffer in mind, body, or spirit. I invite you to bring the names you're holding in your own heart this day, in joy or in sorrow, and silently or aloud now in this time, to speak their names. For all the names spoken and unspoken, may we be held in love and grace. Our poet of the day, Mary Oliver, writes, "Instructions for living a life: pay attention, be astonished, tell about it." Amen. The hymn is All This Joy. It's in your order of service. We're going to help lead you and teach you this song. I invite you to remain seated as we sing together.
It is so good to be in this pulpit again and looking at your beautiful faces. So, yay. Several years ago, I was traveling with some friends in Poland. And I doubt very seriously if I would have chosen Poland as one of my must-see places in the world, but my longtime friend Pam invited my spouse and I to join her and her spouse as she retraced her family root system. And we were in the privileged place of having enough money and enough time to say yes. And so we went. This pilgrimage was wonderful. Not because it was filled with outstanding vistas or awe-inspiring works of art. Instead, it was filled with these little moments of friendliness, of invitations offered and accepted. And one such moment was in a little out-of-the-way village called Hatuf. Hatuf is where Pam's grandmother was born and raised until she left her impoverished life and made her way to the United States as a teenager, as a 17-year-old. There's not much there now. Hatuf's only claim to fame is the oldest wooden church in Europe. So here we are, these 4 older American white ladies, modern cathedral, walking around this wooden church and then walking up to this modern cathedral built on a hill above. And Kate, Pam's wife, says, maybe we should find the graveyard in town and see if we can find your family name. So after a bit of prodding, Pam decides to go into the cathedral and ask anyone who's there, where is the cemetery in town? Now we are in a really remote place in Poland. Nobody speaks English, and Pam has only a few phrases in Polish. Good day, thank you, a drinking phrase which is, here's to your health, down my throat, and a few assorted swear words. So, there's this kind of playful invitation, a kind of silent agreement to practice friendliness among people who want to communicate but have no common language. And Pam and the nuns she meets exchange some pleasantries, and then Pam says in Polish, I don't speak Polish, which made the nuns giggle. And then she launches off in English and spots of Polish, explaining that her mother's mother is from Hatuf, and can they direct her to the graveyard to search for her family name. And the nuns are concentrating very hard, and they are leaning in and listening so intently for any piece of language or idea they can grab onto, and there's a little altar boy off in the corner who's lighting candles in preparation for the evening mass, and he's trying to decipher what does this woman want and can he help? And after a few moments of getting nowhere, Pam decides to go for broke in this playful invitation, and this is what she does. Oh, the nuns say. And they smile as they point out the door. And Pam realizes, crestfallen, that they are talking about the Stations of the Cross that surround the cathedral and the old wooden church. So she smiles, knowing that they had not really understood, but so grateful to these beautiful people who had accepted her invitation to relation. And the 4 of us are milling around outside of the church, a little disappointed, but remaining laughing our heads off at Pam's go for broke pantomime. And then the altar boy comes out the side door with his bike, and all of a sudden, Kate is digging in her bag, and she motions to the boy, please, please, wait, please, she invites, please, practice friendliness once again, and he agrees. So she finds her iPad and she starts madly typing, and the voice says, death in Polish. And then she pushes it again, death. And the boy's eyes light up. Oh, that's it. Yes, he nods and he motions us for him to follow him as he wheels his bike through the courtyard smiling, and then another boy appears on his bike, and the altar boy is gesticulating and speaking very fast, and then out of nowhere there's about 10 Polish boys, all on their bikes, all making their way down the street with 4 American white ladies trotting behind them, and we're all laughing. It's like we're like an Italian movie in Poland. And we are so joyful. We are so joyful, so happy that our practice of friendliness has truly connected us in meaning. Down the street, past the bank, turning right, and there it is, this beautiful cemetery. Something that we would never, ever have found on our own. Something that required the practice of invitation and of real meeting. The great Jewish philosopher Martin Buber says all real living is meeting. And I might add, all real living is invitation, offered and accepted. And that's what happened that day. We were all meeting, our whole and holy selves, meeting the whole and holy self of the boy, the nuns. And Buber calls this the I-thou encounter. It is a world of relation, and it is powerful. It is I, a whole and holy human being, confronted or met by thou, another whole and holy being. And sometimes we hear the word confront with a negative connotation, but Buber uses the word in a positive sense. Each being, the I and the thou, make no assumptions about the other. We are moving in the absolute present tense with one another. Each whole and holy being is confronted by another whole and holy being, me and you, us and boy, the goldfinches in that field of thistles. The meeting may feel good or it may feel hard, but a true meeting has taken place because we meet in the absolute present. I-thou relationship transforms both I and thou. This is the spiritual foundation of friendship, and it's what we are called to practice as a religious body. The I-thou meeting, the I-thou invitation. And sadly, in our modern day hurry up, never let down life, our life is not characterized by the I-thou relation. The majority of our lives are spent on another kind of interaction altogether, and it is what ails us. And Buber calls it the I-it experience. This is how we move in life for the most part, making everything and everyone an it. It is something or someone we characterize, we demean, or we profile. Something or someone we make an object that we can experience or use. The problem is this: it is not relationship. It is not real meeting. It does not mutually transform. The whole and the holy go unnoticed. Oh, do you have time to linger for just a while out of your busy and very important day? It is a very serious thing to confront the thou, the whole and holy in this beautiful and broken world. It may just transform us all. Amen.
Thank you, Ruth, for that good word. I didn't really want to do it. I had tried it before. A few times, in fact, each time a little further and a little further, but then ultimately, no, I went back down. This time I was sure it would be fine. Oh, the kids are going, I can go with them. But for those who have various fears from a young age or from a bad experience or for so many reasons, you might know a similar feeling. How the idea of something isn't so scary, but the body response in the moment is different. Be here now. In this case, being here now was a barrier for me moving onward and upward, because this was a state park fire tower. And since a young age, I've had a moderate fear of heights, at least certain kinds. Not flying, not high bridges, not even really tall buildings. Anything, as the child of a building inspector, anything with strict structural rules and regulations and a fully enclosed frame, I was pretty okay with. But anything that felt like it had a little more wiggle room for human interaction, for human error, like a ladder, or in this case, a big old super ladder sort of structure, and God forbid gaps between the steps, terrified me. So I took a few steps up, maybe about one flight or two, the kids going first, and the fear response started to settle in. And the I can do it for the kids, parent positive thinking was quickly overcome with, yeah, I don't think so, no. And these fear responses can be very serious for many, but in my case, it's always been moderately workable. But in this instance, it was all about invitation, which is our monthly theme. This reminds me of covenant, too, the promise of how we are together in community, and the covenant that Amy mentioned briefly with the children that's plastered all around our classrooms for children and youth, or if you're in a small group in the education wing somewhere, maybe you'll notice these too. It's on the inside cover of your order of service. This is what our young people promise to each other, knowing it's always and forever a work in progress. And that's the important thing to know about covenant. It takes constant maintenance, repair, calling ourselves and each other back to the table, but always within shared values. Be here, be open, be respectful, be safe, be yourself. As one of our Southern colleagues always says, y'all are welcome, but you gotta act right. Not anything goes. And we do the work of repair. These shared values I try to return to: be here, be open, be respectful, be safe, be yourself. But there in the Minnesota summer woods, on the third flight of that tower, I was focusing on some of these promises more than others. So this is a bit of how my covenant mind with my fear response was interacting. Be here, which I was and didn't particularly like. Be open. Yeah, okay. Be respectful. I was respecting my body's response and caution. Be safe. Check. Feel pretty good about that one, staying here on the ground. Stay put here. I'll just be here and not move. But then be yourself. Yes, this is authentically me. But beyond these just general values, though, the important part is how it calls us to practice them not just on our own, but together. So, for the first go, the kids went up with Mama, not Papa, and I cheered them on and saw their faces looking over the side, thinking in those moments, good God, they're going to fall. But of course, they didn't, and they took it easy, and they made it, and they followed the covenant promises. And then the thing about invitation is that we only move through or within or find our way with good companions. So as they came down, and I was proud of them, and we were about to leave, something stirred within me, and I was grounded again literally and felt that maybe I could go a little further, which is always what I've thought on the ground, but maybe up to the tree line, which my father had helped me do years before. So with the cheers of my young ones who had already gone up and down and were there on the side, who became tender supporters for their papa that they don't usually see like that. And they're like, you're not afraid of anything. You talk in front of a room full of people for a job. And then the presence of my beloved who said, I'll go with you if you want to go up. The invitation to be open, of not needing to go it alone, took the lead, step by slow step, staring straight ahead, not down, not up, straight ahead, gripped rails, bringing to mind the many who had done this before me, including the young souls who had just done it moments before, and my companion guide, offering a gentle and reassuring path, flight by slow flight, pausing at the tree line, and then continuing, we made it to the top. Distracting myself from the impulse to look in all the directions of fear, I was able to pay attention to the serious work of delighting in the trees as I traveled with them up their branches and then beyond to the sky, eventually taking in a beautiful view that I had never been able to before, after pausing to hug the floor of the observation deck for a moment at the top. Am I still alive? I'm still alive. There is something in this seemingly ridiculous act of just going up the stairs, no particular reason, other than the most important things there are in life. To just be alive on this fresh morning. To remember that the presence of others is what helps us find our way within our fears, and there is beauty in each tiny, rusty step. The goldfinches strive melodiously, writes Mary Oliver, not for your sake, not for mine, and not for the sake of winning, but for the sheer delight and gratitude. Believe us, they say. It is a serious thing just to be alive on this fresh morning in the broken world. It's a serious thing, isn't it? Just to be alive, to live, to be, to do whatever it is we're doing in a particular day, shuffling from this to that, scrolling through this or that, watching or listening to this or that, or really trying not to watch or listen to this or that. To move and breathe and be in such a way that it is not for anyone's sake or the sake of winning or for ego or for greed or getting ahead, but to be stopped in our tracks, distracted, off our track a bit, to notice the beings around us, striving melodiously for the sheer delight of it, to make a bit of room in our very busy and important day, our very busy and important life or soul, for something that our over-efficient and over-productive ways just might seem ridiculous. To move away from the regular, well-worn, comfortable paths takes an invitation rooted in trust and in love to lead us forward from roots and branches to a wide open sky. To be here, be open, be respectful, be safe, be yourself. And maybe if we're noticing enough beyond just our normal routines, those seemingly small, tiny moments and movements and fears and hopes and sighs and prayers are not just yours but ours together. And each one just might, in the serious delight of a fresh morning, invite you to change your life. The hymn is Do You Hear? 112 in the gray hymnal. I invite you to rise in body or spirit as we sing. invite you, as you're comfortable, to place a hand over your heart or toward the sky or earth in gratitude, open to the invitation of the day and to each other. Go yonder, and gather the people. Give them not hell, but courage and hope. Give them something of the love you have found here, and tell all the people that love is our home. Amen.